Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you how to scale up and scale down the deployment in Azure Kubernetes services. We're going to do it from the scratch. So I'm going to build an application, Dockerize it, and then we just follow the steps, whatever I've documented here. So first we're going to build application, Dockerize it, push to the Docker Hub, deploy the image, the Azure Kubernetes, and then scale up, scale down through the deployment so that we can roll out the replicas. That's what we're going to do it in this. It's very simple and we're going to do it in less than 5 minutes. The video length may extend more than 5 minutes, but in the crux, it's not complex. That's what I want to highlight. Alrighty. So I'm just going to start over. Before that, I think I have done the code already. Let me delete it. Let me open up the project folder. Delete all the content from here. Okay, so I'm going to start from the base. I have an empty folder. This is nothing but my project root folder, right? So I need to build a simple Node.js application. We don't need to worry about the code. What does exactly that Node.js does? We don't need to worry about it, right? Because we're going to focus on how we can go ahead and scale up, scale down deployments, expose the deployment, and then to make sure that we can access the application if in case the pod is deleted accidentally or in case a pod crashes. That's what exactly we are going to do, right? So to start with, I'm going to play around with some Node.js Npm commands. So now that I've got a package.json file created, all good. Let me open up my Visual Studio Code. What do I see here is nothing but my package.json. And then, already, we need to just go ahead and install the Express package. Let's just follow the instructions here. Right next, I'm going to install the Pug package. Let this install. Meanwhile, if I open up my Visual Studio Code, underneath my project root folder, I can see some files and folders created. We don't need to worry a lot about it. Just for your information, the package.json will have the dependencies. So if I do run npm install command, it's going to install the Express and Pug so that your dependency is met. So whatever is required to run your application, the prerequisites will be installed. So these two packages are prerequisites for me. All good. So I think now that Pug is also installed, there is no issues in it. Now I need to create a file in my project root folder. The name of the file is app.json. Just copy paste the content over here. This is the code for app.json. So here I'm going to make my application to listen to the port through the port 3000 and print the host name in the response. That's what exactly it does. Nothing much. And then I need to render it in some fancy HTML. I'm using Pug as a view engine for this. I create a folder called views and then I create a file index.pug. Alright, so I'm gonna define here that my view engine is Pug and then I'm going to render the index file. Alright, that's it. Let's see how this works locally. Okay, let me open up my PowerShell console host here. Let's stick to one terminal. Okay, so let me see node app.js. That will start my server, and if I come to my browser and access the local host with port 3000, what I see is some response and I see the host name here. Okay, so the application is running on the host desktop 8GD. That's just a local host name. That's good. All good. Now what I need to do is I need to dockerize this file, right? So I need to copy this and move to my project root folder and create a file called docker file. So I'm going to build the image from the base image node alpine and define the working directory. So inside the docker, underneath the user, src and app folder, I'm going to copy anything which starts with package. So package-log.json and package.json will be copied. So when I run npm install, that's going to install all the dependencies defined in the package.json. Then copy the content and run the command node app.js. Simple as that. So how we are testing in local, I'm also running the same command, right? Node app.js. So that's going to run. Simple as that. So the application is up and running. Now I need to build tag this Docker application, right? So let me go ahead and get my document and do the command here. So let me run docker build -t. That's the command which I'm going to build and tag the Docker image. I'm using the flag -t here to make sure that has the tag. I'm just doing it with the version 1.0.1. After this, I need to make sure I'm pushing this image to my Docker hub. So if I come to my Docker hub repository, okay, I don't see any new repository, right? So this is updated 3 days ago. So let's see how this works. So I'm going to do the push. So the push may take a minute or less than a minute, depends upon the size of the image. I've selected Alpine, which is a lightweight, which has a node as well. I don't need to work a lot on it. If I use any bigger size of images, then it may take some time. It depends on the size. Okay, so we don't need to worry about it. Let me close this and see what's the next instruction. Once this is done, we are going to create a deployment. So we need to wait until the push is successfully completed. Then I'm going to copy this back here. So it takes a couple of minutes, as I said. So in short, what we do is we create a deployment, which is a higher level concept, and that will manage the replica set declaratively. We don't need to worry much about it. So we just go ahead and create a deployment. Then we expose the deployment, and then we add the, we roll out the scale set, replicas, to scale up and scale down. That's what we're going to do now. Excellent. We are almost done in pushing the image to the Docker hub. Good. Let me copy this. Hopefully that should work. It's taking a little while. I don't know. But that's accepted, because I don't see any warning. Good. It's completed. No errors. Successfully done. Let's open up the Docker hub and refresh it. So simply I should see a new repository, collaborations.cloud. Okay, updated few seconds ago, and I should see the tag name v1.0.1, because that's what we have used in our command, right? v1.0.1. Okay, now I need to create a deployment. So for that, what I need to do is I need to just copy paste this command. So here I'm going to create a deployment with the name collaborations.cloud. So this is the resource, deployment is the resource, and this is the name of the deployment. And I'm using the flag -image. I'm pulling it from the Docker hub. Okay, let's see how this works. Successfully, we have created a deployment. Let me quickly check the deployment status. kubectl get deployment. Good, we have got the deployment. So I can also use a describe command here. Okay, now I need to give the I've got only one deployment, so it just pulled out, or else I have to give the name of it, right? So describe deployment and name of that. Good, I can see some more information about the deployment. We don't need to worry a lot about it, but we need to just keep a tab of these events. Okay, so there is no error and it's all good. Fantastic. How many pods we see now? Of course, only one pod, and we don't have any replica set. Oh great, I've got a replica set here because it has got only one. That's good, because I've got that up and running, right? Because I've created that deployment, which is a higher level concept. That's good. Ideally, yes, I should see the replica set if I do the deployment. Now I need to check the service. I don't have any service. I have got only the cluster IP, the default one. So I need to make sure I go to expose the deployment through the load balancer. So I just come back to my document and copy this command. So what I need to keep a note here is, let me copy this. I'm going to use expose deployment, name of the deployment. The type is as load balancer, port as 80, and the target port as 3000. This is where my application is going to listen, right? So name the service. Name is of your choice. You can just select it, but the deployment should be the name of the deployment. All right, now that my application is ready, I have deployed it and I can access it over the internet. Let's see how do we do that. So let me go ahead and quickly get the public IP, kubectl get service. The public IP is not yet assigned. Let's wait for a couple of minutes. Hardly it shouldn't take much. Yes, I can see the external IP here now. Let me copy this and let me see if I have any pods running. Yes, I have a running pod. Let me come over here, browser, and say access this. The application may take a couple of minutes more to run. You don't see the results as expected immediately because I've tried a couple of times and it took more than a minute at times, or more than 2 minutes. It's all accepted. That's not a big deal for us. Let's hold for a minute and see how this application is rendering. And obviously what we see is the name of the pod in the response, because there is only one pod we have got. That's the reason we get it. So I'm just excellent. The application is up and running now. So you can see the host name in my Node.js code. I have defined it, right? So I see over here I'm getting the host name, which comes from here, os.hostname variable, right? And I'm using the package, os package here. So back here in my pug, I've just given this message. So it interpolates, it just get the value there and replace it in the message. So that's why I see the host name. I've got only one host in my Azure, one pod in my Azure Kubernetes, right? So what should I do now in my cluster? So I need to add some more. I need to scale up my application. So I need to roll out replicas for that, right? So how do I do that? Is using the command kubectl scale. Copy this back here to your PowerShell host. Okay, didn't copy it, I think. Let me copy it again. Yeah. So now I'm going to give replicas as 6 in numbers, right? So I'm just going to run it. So kubectl scale flag as -- replicas for my deployment collaborates.cloud. So if I use kubectl get rs, let's see what we see now. So now I see desired as 6, current as 6, and ready as 6. Earlier I got it as 1 in number for the output, right? In that case, I'm not sure whether we have it here in the history. Yes, if you see here, I can see desired, current, and ready. So here I can see 6 in numbers. Good. So what do we do now? So let me go ahead and say kubectl get pods. And if I see that, I can see 6 pods running. Amazing. So out of which all these 5 pods are created 42 seconds ago, and this is 5 minutes ago, right? That's all good. So back here, I can see the host name as xdrwl, or I'm not sure because of the font. So xdrwl. If I refresh it, I see the request hits a different pod. It may be any one of these pods. Let's see that. F5. I can see HQSMI. Back here, I can see L, right? So I'm hitting this pod. How we scale up? Similar way, we can do scale down too. So I can just go ahead and say, give me 2 replicas. I'm going to run this. It's scaled. Now what should I do? Get pods. You should see few pods are getting terminated. It's in terminating state. If you run it after some time, you don't see the pods at all. So we get only 2 running pods because we defined our scale saying that get me only 2 replicas over here. Good. So let's wait for another minute or so. Then we should see only 2 running pods. Now that if I run my application or refresh it, I can see it's hitting a different pod, D8H8. This is running. And if I refresh it, I may hit here or I may hit again the same pod. That's what exactly we should see. So I'm hitting the same pod, D8, another pod, another refresh. Okay, let me open up in the new browser. Now you see I'm hitting up a new pod, XDRWI. I mean a different pod. Good, right? So let's see how many pods we have got. Only 2 pods are running. So that's the replicas. This is the basics of what I want to show you in replicas and scale up and scale down the deployment. Do remember, this is not production ready deployment. This is not the method to do. In my upcoming videos, I show how to do it using the YAML file. Thanks a lot for watching my videos.